Alapag is best known for his time playing professional athlete basketball in the PBA and for representing the Philippines on the international level as a player for the Gilas Pilipinas and as a coach for Ala Pilipinas. His love and passion for the game ignites a firestorm and inspires the love of Filipinos all over the world.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of In Love With Me, where we feature inspiring individuals who will share their amazing stories. I am your host, Mafae Velasco, and for this series, our topic is passion and purpose. For this episode, we have an empowered man, former professional basketball player, head coach of Ala Pilipinas basketball team, and a dad to motivate us to take action. So without further ado, let's welcome the amazing Jimmy Alapag. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, Mafae, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Of course. I know you've been busy with your beautiful wife, sharing the goodness of your kitchen with everyone. And I'm sure there's things that you've been up to. But before I ask you what you've been doing during this quarantine, can you share with everyone on how you are the empowered and inspiring man that you are today?
Oh, well, thank you. It's obviously a difficult time for everyone. It seems like this pandemic literally came out of nowhere. And it's not only affected everyone here in the Philippines, but really around the world. So, as tough as it's been, still thankful to have had this family time, because normally this time of year I'm really busy with coaching and traveling. So trying to maximize this family time, trying to stay busy, and doing my best to stay connected to the game as best I can from home. Been reading a lot more. So again, just staying busy, because if you don't keep yourself occupied in times like this, you can start to feel bad about obviously what we're all dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Can we go back to how you became the Jimmy that you are today? Can you share with everyone where basketball was introduced to you?
Yeah. So like 99% of Filipino families, our family were huge basketball fans. I'm the youngest of 6 in my family, so from my dad, from my 2 older brothers, and even my 3 sisters. I mean, they all shared a liking for the game and a love for the game. And so me being the youngest, I picked up the game at a pretty young age, being around my older brothers all the time. And that's really where the passion started. I mean, I remember as a kid staying up, late watching games with my dad and my siblings. To show you how old I am, the old like 80s Lakers Celtic games back in the day. Those I remember staying up with them all the time and really trying our best not to miss a game. So it started from there, and continued to learn and grow the game. And ever since I was young, there was always a love and passion for the game. So it was easy for me to go and practice and go and work out, especially as I got older.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously it brought you to the Philippines. And how did that come about?
So when I was in college, just to take you back a little bit, when I was in high school, I played varsity in high school all 4 years, but the first 3 years I didn't play. And it wasn't cool because, at first I was the only freshman on the varsity team. So, we had a big high school, and it's high school, right? So, status is important back then. And, it was cool because everybody said, hey, Jimmy's the only freshman on the varsity team. But once the season started, no matter what I did, I was the first one in the gym to practice. I was the last one to leave. I was just so small, like unbelievably small. And so from a physical standpoint, I couldn't keep up with the older kids. So yes, I was on varsity, but I never played. And it got to the point, through those first 3 years of high school where I only went into the game when we were either winning by 20 points, which was rare, or losing by 20 points, which was more often. So, it became a really tough time because, obviously you're embarrassed. I come from a big family. You have all your family and friends there, and I'm just not getting in the game. And I would literally pray with like the last minute or two that the coach wouldn't put me in the game because it would just make me feel even worse. So, when I graduated high school, I finally got playing time my senior year, but I wasn't heavily recruited because I really only played my senior year. So I took the scenic route. I went Division III, which was non-scholarship, and then from there, great people, horrible basketball experience. Just wasn't the level that I wanted to play at. I wanted to play at a higher level. So I ended up transferring, went to a 2-year junior college, gave me a chance to work out more and just try to catch up from the lost time back in high school. And then after that season, I finally signed at Cal State San Bernardino. Finally got a scholarship, thank God, because we needed it. And that was really the start of kind of paving the way for an opportunity to eventually come to Manila.
Mm-hmm. And I think we both came in the same year to the Philippines. I came in the middle of 2002. Mm-hmm. Was that around your time too for the 2003 draft?
Yep. Yes.
And
so I was actually here in 2002. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
Oh, so when I arrived in 2002, the plan was that I was going to be a part of the draft. And then I actually had an invitation for the national team. Long story short, I don't get into the draft, so I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought I was going to have to come back to the States and get a job and then maybe come back the next season. But fortunately, I still had my invite to the national team, trained with them for about 4 months. I made the team, but they weren't allowing me to play until I was cleared. And so 4+ months goes by. I still haven't been cleared, and I literally had gotten to the point where I'm here. You there?
Yeah.
Sorry.
The challenge of online live. Yeah.
I know. Sorry. So I'd been with the team for 4+ months, and I still wasn't being allowed to play. So it got to the point where, I met with the coaching staff and kind of thanked them and said, I'm super thankful for this opportunity, but it's not working. I wasn't making any money. And it was just tough because I was just practicing. And so if it wasn't for the guys on that team looking out for me, I would have never survived. And so literally the week that I was ready to fly back to the States and basically just work and then come back the next year for the draft, I was cleared to play. So now I go from being excited to, thinking I'm going home to now being excited because I'm on the national team and I'm going to finally play. Only problem was we played our first game. We go out of town and I break my hand like 5 minutes into the game. And so, after all that wait, all that build up that everybody wanted to see me play, it was over before it started. So finished out. I had to do my rehab because I broke my hand. And then ended up having to go back to the States anyway, kept training, and then finally came back in 2003 where I was finally drafted.
So what was your mindset having to go through that and then coming back, I guess, with a vengeance to really, really make it to the PBA or the national team?
Mafae, it took me back to the time when I was in high school when I wasn't playing. And I'll tell you why, because it was probably the one time in my life where I thought I just flat out failed. because it was always my dream to play professionally. I finally get a chance. I'm not in the PBA yet, but I'm on the national team. So I'm playing with all these guys who, had so much success already in the league. And the first opportunity I get, I blow it. I absolutely blew it. And so, going back home, I felt super bad because I felt like, so now what? And it took me back to when I was in high school, to when I was that young kid who wasn't playing, was still coming every day, early, was always staying late, and I just wasn't playing. And so, those lessons back in high school were so valuable as I got older, because in situations like that, either you kind of accept the circumstances for what they are, or you just kind of, you have to, pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, and then you just kind of keep plugging away and keep grinding away. And so, I've been really fortunate in my life to, have a big family and have that support system, close friends, who I consider family, who, just kept encouraging me and said, what it's like now that you were there. So just make sure when you come back that you're ready. And that was really my motivation, to come back and make things right.
And you did, you paved the way for a lot of, I guess, Filipino Americans that wanted to follow your footsteps, and you set the bar high, Jimmy. Like, amazing.
Thank you.
Even my husband has so much respect for you. And you mentioned earlier that, you said that you were the smallest person on the team, but really you were the one with the biggest heart. And until now, I believe that, because, all the success that you've been doing, until now you're a head coach, and you paved the way, I guess, for Filipino basketball players in the Asia Games. Like, wow, you put us on the map, just being a captain there. How does that feel, having all that achievements, now having to be the one giving it back?
I think nowadays I have a much deeper appreciation for it, because I think when you're playing, right, you're so caught up in, okay, what's the next game? It's the next season, competing for a championship, or, what's the next step for Gilas? And so, with all those things going on in your head, and the preparation and the extra time in the gym and the conditioning and really just all of that, you don't really have time to take a step back and say, wow, like, you kind of get an opportunity to look at your body of work after the fact. And now that I'm 4 years into retirement, full on this transition into coaching, I can look back on when I played, and I am proud of what I was able to accomplish. But I also realized that I didn't do it by myself. My support system with my family, in the States, and obviously my family now with my wife and our kids. And then again, having friends like you and Nick and really our circle of friends, you need to have that support system, because no one achieves, the success that they ultimately want for themselves by themselves. You're going to have people along the way to encourage you, to tell you that you can do it, because you're also going to run into people who tell you that you can't. And that's going to be a big challenge for anybody, to be able to block out that noise and really just kind of stay, the course on what you're trying to achieve. And I can look back on my career now and have so much appreciation for what I was able to do and the people who I was able to experience all of it with. So it means a lot.
So can I bring it back to when you were playing? What was your habit or ritual before a game to get you hyped up? Because I know you guys have a certain, thing that you do. Like, Nick has his like crazy music that he listens to going to the game, and we cannot talk to him. So what do you do?
Well, for me, I used to. I'm a creature of habit. Say hi, Ian. Say hi.
Hi, Ian.
Ian's being shy. Say hi.
Hi.
Love the haircut.
Mafae, I'm a creature of, so I would try to do the same routine all the time. Wake up in the morning. If I could, I'd get to the gym and do like a light shoot around before the game. Come back home, eat, take a nap, and then as as I'm on my way to the game, I already try to get into my own zone and my own space. When I'm in the locker room, I greet everybody, but then after that, you probably won't hear too much from me. Usually have my headphones on, listening to music, maybe watching a sports movie. But when it comes to my music, it's funny because I would usually listen to just like R&B, kind of just chill, just to kind of calm my nerves because I used to love just being on the court and the adrenaline from the competition and the crowd. I would really try my best to just kind of calm myself down in the locker room so that once it was game time, I was just kind of in a relaxed state and I could just go out there and play. So that was always my routine.
And then, of course, after you just eat a huge meal after a win. But anyways, of course, I've seen you play, and just the focus and just the strength and the leadership that you carry on the court. Of course, Nick and your team have always seen each other in the championship playoffs and things like that. How does it feel for you to win a championship, and how does it feel for you to almost grab that championship ring?
It's as an athlete, it's really what you play for, right? It's what you spend all that time in your preparation. When it comes to, again, coming early for practice, staying late, going back to the gym at night and doing your extra work when no one's watching, because it's that type of work ethic and focus that when the time comes, the team's depending on you to come through, there's a confidence that you have, I think, within yourself just because the work that you're doing. I was always big on that. I didn't feel confident in my game, and I didn't feel confident in leading my team if I didn't do that. And again, it goes back to when I was in high school and I was the 4'9", 90-pound freshman on the varsity team. Just constantly working, and doing my part to help the team win. And so, and it's funny because as you grow and you learn about what it takes to be a pro, I used to eat so bad, like early in my career. Like if you're hungry, it's like, oh, well, I just need to eat. Like you're not even worried about what you're going to eat. I'm having a burger. I'm having a pizza. And it's like, okay, I'm full. I'm ready to go to the game. But, you grow, you get smarter, and you start to understand how important the diet is to just the whole body of work, when it comes to training and recovery. And so later on in my career, I became much, much better in terms of, my diet. And you have to, because as you get older, you have younger guys come to the league faster, more athletic than what you used to be. So, it's all played for, and there's no better feeling than being able to share that with your teammates and the organization, because it's what we play for.
Exactly. And of course, playing for the Philippines, what was the feeling of almost bringing like a huge medal or a gold medal to the country? Like, how did that feel? Because until now, we still see the highlights of you making the big shots, being captain of that team. Can you share a little bit about that experience, Jimmy?
Yeah. Before 2013, when I played for the national team in 2007, we were in Japan, had a great team. The Philippines was coming off of suspension from FIBA. And again, we just bombed, got put in a terrible group with the other top teams in Asia, didn't get out of our group, ended up finishing, my goodness, I think we finished 7th or 9th or something like that. And so that hurt, because representing the Philippines, representing our country, there's always expectations, and our country expects us to perform well. And when you don't, it's tough. And so fast forward to 2011, with the national team again, we were in Wuhan, China, played Korea for a spot in the final. lose that game in overtime. And, again, you're stuck with that feeling of disappointment. And, I think the worst part is when you do play abroad and you come back to Manila, you hear it all the time, right? When you're out, it's like, oh, sayang, kawawa, kasi we were so close. And so when we got the opportunity to host the FIBA Asia tournament in 2013, I was already at the tail end of my career, and Coach Chut, called and asked me to be on the team. And I really felt like, man, this is it. Like, this is the opportunity to play this tournament here at home, have the advantage of the crowd. Man. And I think that the best part about that experience, Mafae, was that in 2013, the guys that we had on that team, there was an instant chemistry. And that's not always something you find in any work or team setting, whether it be a 9-to-5 job or in sports. It's just hard to find where everybody in the group is committed to the goal, right? And which is obviously to get to the World Cup. But that group was special, and for us to go through that tournament and to play, of all teams, Korea for a spot in the World Cup, a team that we hadn't beaten internationally, I think it was 25 years. So, but that night at Mall of Asia was amazing. It's what you dream about, having 20 something thousand people there, and knowing that they're there to support you. There was no way we were losing that game that night, and I'm thankful we all came through and got the job done.
Yeah, what an amazing feeling. I mean, normally, of course, you playing for Talk and Text during the PBA, it was only a portion of the audience or the people cheering was for your team. But for the Gilas, Philippine team, it was like the whole crowd. So I can imagine, the pressure and the nervousness. But for sure, you guys did amazing. And now, you transition into coaching, and I'm sure that you're enjoying it. But when you did transition into retiring and becoming a coach, what was the challenge there, and what was the difference?
The biggest difference was, when you're playing, right, your whole focus, what can I do to help the team, and okay, and every game presents a different challenge. And so I think that's your mindset going into a game, because you're in control of what you can contribute. So okay, if this guy needs to get shots early, then okay, your focus is on getting him the ball. Or if another game says, hey, I got to come out and try to make shots, those are the things that you're thinking about as a player. But as a coach, it's a completely different mindset, because now you don't have any impact on the game on the court. You're on the sideline. So, you go into a mode now where I think you have a much broader perspective of the game. And the goal now is, how can you teach, how can you motivate, and how can you encourage your guys so that when they are out there on the court, they can go out there really play with confidence and go out there and do what they do. So that was, that was a big adjustment, making the transition early, reminding myself that I wasn't a player anymore. But, it's part of the challenge.
Could imagine it's like playing a video game, and maybe, maybe the video game or the controller was low bat, maybe. Would that be the feeling sometimes?
No.
Or you wanting to jump in?
No, and what? No, absolutely. And for me, I loved the competition, right? I love the energy from the crowd. But when you're a coach, you have to find a way to really kind of just be a model of composure and poise on the sideline, because you're setting the bar for the team. And if they see me all rattled and I can't get my thoughts together, during a timeout, what does that say for the rest of the team? So I think that was probably the biggest adjustment, just understanding that, going into a game, I need to be calm and I need to be poised and have composure, so that when the team sees me on the sideline and I'm trying to draw up a play or whatever the case may be, they can feel like, hey, we might have a young coach, but he knows what he's talking about. He's composed, And so hopefully they can get confidence from that and then go out there and win the game. So it was tough early, especially because we struggled early in my first season, but again, it was a credit to our staff and to our players for just continuing to push and grind, and we eventually found our way.
Yeah, you're a champion coach, Jimmy. Like, so amazing. And then just recently, right, you had the experience of being part of the Sacramento Kings. How was that?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, incredible. Being as long as I've been connected to the game, at the end of the day, I absolutely love my career. I'm loving the transition to coaching, but at the end of the day, like, I'm a basketball fan. Like, you ask my wife, like, I'll watch and talk basketball all day. And so getting that chance to be, ultimately at the highest level with Sacramento, I mean, I was literally waking up every day for workouts like it was the first day of school. Workouts didn't start till around 10 o'clock, and I was at the gym at like 6. I get my little, anti-aging workout in, have breakfast with some of the other coaches, and then just wait. Just because, I just love the entire process, the environment, and being around, the best players in the world, and just picking up, little things on what the coaches do in terms of their preparation, the players and how they work. And really, it was funny because I was with them for almost 6 weeks from the time I joined them in Sacramento, and then we flew to Vegas for the Vegas Summer League. I literally documented every day. Like, I had my own little, like, daily log or diary or whatever. Just because, I always, go through those notes and just think, like, man, it was, just an amazing experience.
Yeah, and you're the only Filipino, coach player that's had that experience, especially, very recent. And, with that, Jimmy, I wanted to ask you, of course, with all your successes and all the transition that you're making, how do you balance everything? How do you balance your family? How do you balance now your coaching career?
I think that's the challenge. I think the challenge of life, right? We got kids and just, again, trying to find that balance between, yes, I have to focus on my work, but then being able to kind of just switch gears and say, okay, well, now this is family time. And, it's a huge challenge when you have kids, right? It's, because they require so much attention. And so, I think again, it's a daily battle, to be honest. But, I love my family. I love my kids, and, I think the biggest thing that helps me is that they inspire me to do what I do. To be, not just be the best husband and the best dad that I could be to them, but to be the best at what I do in terms of my career, so that I can be a great example for them for whatever they choose to do in their life, later on, whether they want to get into sports or entertainment or be a doctor, lawyer, whatever it is that they want to do. If I can be a great example to them that, hey, dad is doing what he loves, and dad is able to give us the best quality of life, then, I think I've done my job. So, but it's tough. It's sometimes it feels like 24 hours in a day is not enough. Sometimes you need 26, but
it's all worth it.
You can.
Yeah, it's all worth it in the end.
No, absolutely, for sure.
You have an amazing wife. That's is such a great support system for you. You're such a power couple. I want to go back to what you said. You had to make sure that your composure as a coach is very important. I found you as Jimmy off the court, your composure was also like very, you weren't loud. You were just, just really laid back. So what is the secret of Jimmy Alapag on how your character or who shaped you or what motivates you to be who you are, like just to not be too noisy, I guess.
You know what, Mafae, I think, I get it from my family. Being the youngest of 6 kids, and seeing how my dad, growing up and how hard he used to work to support 6 kids, growing up in the States. I mean, I'm 42, and I can literally remember like it was yesterday, waking up at 5:36 in the morning, and my dad's, waking us up saying, "Hey, I got to go to work," and we wouldn't see him till 6, 7 p.m. that night. So while I'm at school, while I'm at basketball practice, but he always made time. Anytime I had a game, no matter how tired he was, if I wanted to show him, how well I could shoot after work, he always made time. And seeing my dad's work ethic, and at the same time, I still remember him always telling us growing up that you work hard and you be good to people. He was big on that. He was, he's so big on being respectful to people, to be able to earn people's respect as well. And I mean, you've met my dad, and it's like if my dad talks to you for 5 minutes, he'll give you the shirt off his back if you need it. It amazes me. It seriously amazes me because when they do come and visit Manila, and me being the youngest in the family, and they're so proud that their son played professionally for so long. And my dad's talking to everybody, right? So he's walking around the mall and he's like, "Hey, you know my son, he plays." And it'd be so funny because it would be so funny because we would go to the mall, and like we're gonna go have lunch or dinner, and he would say, "No, wait, I met this guy earlier, or I met this security guard earlier," and go and meet that person, and they'd be like, "Oh, hey," and my dad was just like, "Oh, see, so now you guys have met. I told you he's my son." And just seeing my dad, my dad just celebrated his 82nd birthday. Just seeing how my dad is with people. And it's important. It's important to be good to people. I know how blessed I've been in this life, and I want to make sure that I try my best to pay it forward in any way that I can. And I obviously, have a great example, and still to this day, with my family.
Happy birthday to your dad. Happy birthday, Tito. My fondest memory is seeing him in his happiest.
I'll let him know.
The happiest day of his life was in your wedding, because we got to boogie on the dance floor, your dad and I. And I think we have a photo of that, but I won't show it here. But remember that? Your dad was so happy that day.
No, you can. No, well, my mom and dad, get this, for people who don't know, my parents have been ballroom dancing for, I swear, like 20 years. It might be over 20 years, because that's, it's something that they love to do, and it allows them to stay active, right? I mean, my dad's 82. But yeah, I mean, you get my dad on the dance floor, good luck trying to get him off. He will stay out there, and it's so funny because my mom after like an hour, she's like, "All right, well, hey, I need to go sit down," and my dad will just be out there grooving and moving by himself, or whoever wants to dance and doing his thing. So,
all right, he was dancing with the girls,
those
like me, Ember, and Anja and Aina. We were like, "Yes, Tito, let's go." But anyways, yeah.
And no, and I said, and he wasn't even drinking. That was all natural.
Really? But regardless, it was an amazing day. We all got to hang out outside of basketball. So yeah, that was great memory for you guys, you and LJ, and of course everybody who was there. So going back to, I want to understand your, you live by. What your dad taught you, of course, is to earn respect from everyone. But apart from respect, what are your other, I guess, is 3 pillars or maybe 4 that you live by?
three or four pillars that I live by. One, um, just I don't think in life the work ever stops, right? And I think, and I get this from my dad too, because he can't sit still even at his age. Just constantly working, and even now coaching, I still apply the same work ethic as I did when I played or when I was back in high school, because he used to always tell us when we were little, whenever we wanted to play a sport, he would always say, okay, I'll let you join whatever sport that you want to, but you better give your best, because he didn't care if we didn't perform well, or we lose a game. That didn't matter to him. But he said, if you're gonna do it, you give it your best. And again, I mean, at the age that I am now, I still take that to heart. And whatever it is that I do, I want to try my best, and I want to give my best, whether it was when I was playing or now making the transition to coaching. I think the second one is just paying it forward and being good at people. Again, I know in this day and age how fortunate I was to grow up in a family, in a two-parent home, with siblings who, treat me like a castaway because I was the youngest, but instead they really embraced me and took me around to wherever they went, and always encouraged me that, whatever it is that I wanted to achieve, in my case, become a professional basketball player, they always were there to keep pushing me, and even through those years in high school where it got to the point where I was miserable. I mean, it was, I don't know if you can be depressed at 15 or 16, but I mean, I was there, and they're the ones who kept encouraging me to, to keep going and don't stop. We don't quit, keep going. And that's why now, 4 games removed from a 14-year career, it's important for me to pay it forward to, the younger guys who are now starting their own journey, because, that's, whether it's basketball or it's life, I think it all comes full circle. I know how blessed I was to have played the game for as long as I did, and I don't do the game and I don't do my life justice if I'm not paying it forward and helping the younger guys, learn from my experience, my wisdom, my successes, my failures, so that hopefully they have, an even longer career than I did. And again, that goes for sports and even in life. And I think my third is just, I'm as a dad with 3 kids, I want my whole purpose is to try to give my family the best quality of life. And I'm only able to do that if I'm applying myself to my career and trying to, to be as successful as I can, so I can be a great example to them, provide for them. That's important for me, and I think that all happens, as you grow and, you get older, and I think your perspective on your life changes, and also, the fulfillment of your life becomes different, because I think when you're younger and you're single, it's okay to be selfish for yourself, right? Because you're just worrying about you. I just got to make sure that I'm good. But, you get older and you get married and you have kids, that changes. And you want, you want to make sure that they have, the best that life has to give. And so, that's kind of, what my basis of life is. And, whatever I can do to encourage and inspire people from what I've experienced, I think it's a great thing.
And I know that you don't regret anything, but if you had a chance, Jimmy, earlier you were saying that it's okay to be selfish when you're single and you're younger. But if you had a chance to give your younger self advice, what would it be?
If I could give my younger self advice, I think I would just remind myself not to get discouraged, because, going back to, that experience, those first 3 years of high school, or, when I was at a Division III school, year college that was non-scholarship, or, when I finally came to Manila, and felt like, wow, this is my opportunity. Then I get hurt. Then I have to go back, and everyone's saying, oh, see, hindi kaya yan, he's too small, this, that, and the other. Or even after winning my first championship in the PBA, right? You're on top of the world. You just think like, okay, well, we're gonna do it again, and then having to wait 6 more years before we actually won again. There's a lot of instances during those moments where you get down on yourself and you can get discouraged because you feel like, man, I feel like I'm doing enough, but then you lose or you fall short, and it's like, well, I guess I got to do more. And when you're younger, and you're trying to figure out this whole, being a pro and what it's all about, it's easy to get discouraged. And I would just remind my younger self, just keep plugging along. If you fall, if you fail, you get back up and just stay the course and keep working. Because I know that was really the foundation of what allowed me to play as long as I did.
Yes, exactly. And of course, at this time where we're experiencing something challenging and you still have your fans or people that look up to you, maybe you can share with them words of wisdom to, other dads or young aspiring athletes that want to hear from Jimmy Alapag that there's still hope, after all this, that there's so many more opportunities coming our way. So what should they be doing to prepare? Because of course we all have so much time at home. What would be your advice to them on where to begin as far as what to learn, where what kind of books you're reading or mentors that you're looking up to?
Well, I think for everybody tuned in, obviously what we're going through has really just impacted the world. I think I lost you there.
No, I just wanted everybody to focus on you. That's just a thing on this. Go ahead, keep going.
There you go. You there?
Yeah.
No worries. No, I was just saying, these past almost 4 months now, 3+ months, this pandemic has obviously been something that's impacted the world, and most especially here in the Philippines. But at the same time, as been, I think it's important that we just keep the faith. I mean, as tough as it is, I firmly believe that we'll get through this. And as we kind of navigate our way through all of this, in the strange time that we're in, I think it's important I think it's been great for all of us, myself included, to kind of just take a step back from our life and just look at our life as a whole and as a whole and see, okay, not only what will be the next step for us, but how can we be better? And that's really in all aspects of our life. How can I be a better husband, a better father, a better coach, a better mentor? And I just think it's important that for everybody tuned in who has families, that we value this time that we have together, because in normal instances, we can get so caught up in our daily life and time moves so fast that we don't get the quality of time that we've had these last 3+ months. And there's so much value in that. I've been able to spend more time with my kids than I have in a long time, just because with my schedule and just watching them really day to day and watching them grow. It's been awesome. But I think at the same time, as we enjoy our family time and we take a step back from our life, it's also important that we keep growing and keep improving ourselves in whatever respective craft that we have, whether it's reading more, doing your research, reaching out to certain people to learn, just so that once this thing does go away, that you've grown, from this, and that you're not the same person from when this pandemic started. I think that's really important for all of us, so that once the the world kind of gets back to some kind of normal, everybody can hit the ground running and continue living our life. But this pandemic has been, man, I think just something I never thought we would ever see in our lifetime. But again, it's something that I really believe that we'll get through. And I just encourage everyone to keep the faith. And again, just don't waste this time. If there's anything that you ever wanted to do, somebody you wanted to reach out to, a book you wanted to read, something you wanted to learn, do it. While we have this time, just to make ourselves better.
That's well said, Jimmy. That's something that people want to hear right now. And with you just being successful in your journey of life, Nick and I have been there, and so proud of you. I still remember watching you. I think Nick and I were at a restaurant somewhere, and we were jumping up and down. And speaking of him, I think there's someone here that wants to say a special message to you, real quick.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
What up? What up, my brother? What's going on?
What's up, my brother? How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. I'm at work, grinding.
Man,
it hasn't stopped over here.
You're at home. You're at home like everybody else. But we're good, man. Family and I are good.
Everyone back home okay? How's the fam in LA?
Yeah, hey man, just say, man, even being at home, just try my best to stay productive, right? Everybody's good. I'm thankful that everybody's safe. Just a crazy time, man. Crazy time.
Yeah, it's a crazy time, man. And I just wanted to jump on real quick and say I've seen you since you first set foot on this Philippine soil. And from day one, we all knew you were going to be so different because your mentality was different. You see the Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality. You had that from day one since you've been here. And if people want to know about integrity, I'd say you're one of the guys with the highest level of integrity that I've come across. And that just goes to show why, even though you're not one of the biggest guys, you have had the best career out of any Phil-Am or local player that I have ever seen in this country. That's a testament to you, man. And you're an inspiration to a lot of people, including myself.
Hey, I appreciate you, my brother, man. That means a lot. It means a lot.
Yeah. So I have a question, man. Like I mentioned about integrity. What are maybe like your 4 pillars of
I asked him that. He can say
success? It again. Oh, you said it already?
But you can repeat it so you can share it again. Of success. Yeah, that's different. Of being a champion.
Of success or integrity or both?
No, like just what are maybe 4 qualities that really that separate you from everyone else? And integrity for me is one for you, because definitely you have a lot of integrity.
No, my brother, I think, like I was telling Mafae earlier, I think one, you have to be willing to do the work. Like you said, I mean, now that we're both in our post-playing career, I mean, the grind doesn't stop, right? You keep working, you keep learning, you keep growing. And I think that's important because, I don't think anybody can ever attain the success that they envision for themselves without doing the work. And I think sometimes, especially nowadays with social media, that kind of gets lost because it's a very, we're both old school, right? So it's a more of an old school mentality, but it's the truth, and just, constantly dedicate yourself to your craft and whatever that is. And this goes beyond sports. So I would say, dedicating yourself to the craft and the work ethic. Another thing is, I think just being good to people. Mafae and I were talking earlier about, I know how thankful I am to have had a lot of great people around me, whether it was my immediate family, my family in the States, or having friends like you and our circle of friends, because, you need those people in your life as you navigate your way and you're figure out things. Being able to pick you up when you fall down and encourage you to keep pushing when things aren't working. That's so important, and that's why I was telling Mafae I have such a deeper appreciation now that I'm removed from the game, because I know how important all of that work together. And so, again, I think just being able to be good to people and being able to pay it forward in terms of all of our experience, all the wisdom that we picked up, and being able to share all that. I think that's important.
Does that answer your question, Nick?
Yeah, that did. It's crazy when you look back on our years. There? Yeah, we're here. Can you hear us?
I lost y'all for a second. You guys there?
Yeah, we're here. Can you hear me, Jim? That Pasig signal's a little low today. but I just wanted to say, he can maybe see this later once he pops back in. But we've had many years playing against each other. We butted heads as competitors. We played against each other in the finals, which, fortunately I was on the winning end of those. But it's just great. You guys. There you go.
Sorry, I lost you guys for a second. I'm sorry.
No problem. I was just talking about the many years we've had as competitors. I got to join you guys at Talking Text real quick for a quick maybe conference or so, and that was amazing. That was actually a dream of mine to play with you guys. And then we played against each other in a few finals appearances. Which unfortunately I came out on top on those. But but we've had some.
You had to point that out.
we had some big games against each other through the years, and we butted heads, and we've been brothers the whole way through it. And I just want to thank you, man. Thank you for your friendship, your brotherhood, and everything that you've done for the country and for Philippine basketball in general, because you have done it different than anyone else. Believe me.
No, I appreciate that, man.
And still doing it,
that, man. And my brother, it's because of you guys, man. You guys the ones who came out here first. Before our group came, and you guys helped set the bar for what it takes to be successful here. And I hope the younger generation that's playing now understands kind of the pecking order of the people who came before them, who tried their best to raise the bar for the game. And that's why I think it's so important for me now and for us now that we're removed from the game to be able to share what we've experienced, because I think that's our way of paying it forward to the game. And I know how thankful I am to have had you guys, to lean on when I first came here. And hopefully now I can be that for these younger guys, for them to be able to see how I played and how long I was able to play, and hopefully be able to apply that to their own journey. So it's all love, my brother. You know that.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, thank you, Nick, and thank you, Jimmy, for being part of this campaign. I'm sure you both have made a lot of people feel motivated and inspired of what you've accomplished and still doing. Take homes from Jimmy today is that surround yourself with people that will empower you, elevate you, and will give you that positive mindset. Family and friends who become family are very important. This might be cliche, but size does not matter, guys. Like with Jimmy, it's the heart that matters, the size of your heart. And for his dedication to what he's done, what he's done, hey, anything is possible. Life is unlimited. That's what Nick always tells me. And it's okay to take the scenic route of life. Right, Jimmy? You take that scenic route and you learn from all those experiences.
Absolutely.
And you do come on top, because the experiences, that's what makes you grow. And putting in the extra work when no one is watching is super key. It doesn't matter how amazing your social media is, guys. It's what matters. It's what is the quality of your work on the court, or whatever career you're putting all your eggs in that basket. And balance is also key. You know, you have to know where your priorities are at. Earning respect and being good to the universe, being good to people is something that you need to know in life. You know, things go in full circle, and you just never know when you might need these people or where they might need you. So earn respect yourself also, and keep the faith. Most especially at this time, Jimmy expressed that, you know, there is hope. Yeah. There is going to be many more opportunities for everyone. And don't waste time right now. This is the time for you to prepare, you know, educate yourself, read those books that you were putting on the side that's collecting dust, and maybe watch Michael Jordan's documentary again 10 times. I don't know, just to know what the people ahead of you have done, the work ethic that they've had, and then dedicate yourself to your craft, whatever that may be, whatever that passion is, and, you know, whatever your purpose is, God is letting you know right now. So make sure that you listen carefully and accept and absorb. So with that, guys, thank you, Jimmy, again for being here. You know, we really appreciate you, your family to us. Nick, thank you again for dropping in. And again, guys, actions speak louder than words. And thank you for tuning in this episode of In Love With Me. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jimmy.
Say what up, LJ, man, in the fam.
See you, Mafae. My brother. See you guys. See you guys soon.
Thank you for watching In Love With Me series.